This is a true story. So, ever since I was little, I'd probably say around 5 or 6, I always used to experience sleep paralysis in my old house. I'd describe my experience as somewhat normal, but one thing always used to happen that I've never heard of. Obviously the typical dark figure at the end of my bed and a heavy feeling on my chest was there, but I would always feel as though someone was punching my back really aggressively and would get the image of what I'd describe as a bear, but it wasn't actually a bear, if you get what I mean. This would happen almost every night until I was 11, and I just assumed this was normal. As a little side story, the night of my great-grandma's funeral when I was like 9 or 10, I saw her stood near my window smiling at me. I remember trying to talk to her, asking why she was there because she was meant to be dead, obviously not understanding that, if what I was seeing was real, she would be a ghost. I got out of my bed and went to walk to her, and her face dropped, her eyes were wide and she looked terrified. Out of nowhere, her face lost the appearance of skin and turned into basically just the skull, and screamed, "Get out." Looking back now, I don't believe that was my great-grandma's spirit. I believe it is the man I'm going to tell you about. Around 6 months ago, my mom, brother and I were talking before we went to bed about ghosts and the paranormal, as we had just finished rewatching Paranormal Activity. I told her about having sleep paralysis in my bedroom every night, and I remember her just saying, "You're joking, right?" And I was like, "No, why would I be joking?" She then went on to tell me about how when we were moving out of that house in 2014 and we were packing our belongings, she went into the crawl space in her attic bedroom and found these old newspapers and ownership records from a man who owned the house in the 1900s who died. We don't know if he died at home or whether he died elsewhere, but we believe he was spirit I was experiencing. The reason we came to this conclusion was because my mum's bedroom wasn't a bedroom at the time. Her friend who she bought the house from had just converted it, and mine and my brother's bedroom was one big bedroom. I believe he was angry that we were there because he still saw it as his house, although I could be wrong. Anyway, after we moved into our current house, in 2014, I didn't experience anything for a good few years. Jump forward to 2017, my best friend at the time was over and we were baking for a bake sale we were doing for school. She had gone to the toilet, but when she came back to the kitchen, she told me she'd seen an old man at the bottom of my stairs, and described him. He had a blue checked button-up shirt tucked into formal black trousers, he was bald, wore rectangle frames glasses and had a sort of round belly. I just assumed she was trying to freak me out, as I had recently told her about my sleep paralysis in the old house. Going another perhaps month into the future, another close friend of mine was at my house. It's important to note that my best friend had not ever met this other friend of mine, and again, she had gone to the toilet and said she saw a man at the bottom of the stairs. I wish I was joking when I say she described him the exact same, with the exception of their wording. The summer of the same year, 2017, my best friend of 11 years at the time, now 14 years, who actually moved into my old house, traveled 2 hours to stay at my house for a whole week. One night, she shook me awake saying, "Stop, you're freaking me out." When I was awake I was very confused, asking what she meant. She told me that I was saying, "No, you're not supposed to be here, I left like you wanted." This could be a coincidence because she was there and it reminded me of my old house, but I just think it's a bit too weird when my other friends said they saw the same man in my house a month or so prior. Jump forward to 2019 and present day, and I have had some unexplainable experiences that could be put down to coincidence, but I thought I'd add them here. First of all, I used to have this desk chair in my room that my cat loves to sleep on, like she literally claimed that as her spot, and one day she sat on the opposite end of my room and just hissed and hissed at the chair. Me being like, "There's nothing there, don't worry," I picked her up and tried to put her on the chair and settle her, but she literally clung to my shoulder and wouldn't stop meowing until I put her down and opened my door for her. Another thing is, a couple of months ago, I experienced what I think was sleep paralysis again. I was face down in my pillow and couldn't move when I woke up and felt like I was actually going to die. I literally couldn't breathe. It freaked me out so much that I make it my point to lay on my side rather than my stomach. The last thing that comes to mind was literally last week. My brother was at work and he left his bedroom door open. I don't like my cat going in there as he gets himself stuck under his bed, so I shut his door. It's important for me to say now I heard the door click shut, and I went downstairs and sat in the living room with my mum for a good half an hour. When I came back upstairs, his door was wide open but it kept swinging back and forth. Jokingly, I said, haha, very funny Jeremy, please shut the door, and I kid you not, the door slammed shut. That is my story. I hoped you enjoyed.